Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds. I'm Nerdicus Dave, and I'm joined by all these nerds. We're down a nerd for reasons. Um, Hopefully Robin is doing well in their endeavors tonight. But either way, we're going to be playing some 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. With that, I'm just going to hand it over to our illustrious GM and Dungeon Master Steven Partridge.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ashes of Ardor, a dark fantasy campaign. Full disclosure, dark fantasy means horror elements. So if that's not your jam, then maybe jive with one of our other videos. But here, we love Syrinscape. Syrinscape is great. It's awesome. It helps us do music and things. It has sound effects. It makes the game so much more immersive, and we love it. I am going to just kick things off with a recap. I am going to roll a d6, calling it a d3, because we're down a nerd. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Dave, sir, that is you.
Yes, I was hoping you would pick me. I have no idea what we did last time. We were in the wild. I believe the session started with us going into the wild. And you know what? I made a new friend while I was in the wild. A gnome, and this gnome freaking loved me more than anyone has ever loved me before. I single-handedly found like 2 shards of the dragon or the phoenix egg. Well, maybe not single-handedly, but I definitely found one of them. At least I got to bond with my dad a little bit, even though he's dead. But you know, it didn't stop him from being super cool and giving me good advice. I got to set things on fire and turn purple and blue and pink flowers green the way they should be, despite what certain gnomes may tell you. I tried to convince the gnome to join us, but they really weren't having that either. And beware in the wild, because gnomes will just fall out of the sky on you. And with that, I will throw it to Doug.
All right. Yeah, after stepping in the wild, it was a very metaphysical journey, and we're all sort of separated in time, space, or whatever dimension we're in. Dasatrikos, the Aslari shaggy soul sorcerer that I play, met several entities that took on the guises or perhaps were representations of his mentor, and even Shagos, the god from the pride that bestows his power. He mostly spent the time just like communing and seeking deep insights into things that were pretty mysterious and didn't really get resolved, that issue. So there are many bullet points of mysteries that he has going on. But he did see, with his sight beyond sight, got a premonition of a person with a hat that was dangling with knives, I believe. And then they were wearing half a mask, and they changed their identity in a scaly fashion and slipped away. We fought a vampire, who I believe had been the one that was scrying on us, that I snipped her connection to that. And also a jade golem that we bested, that had a connection to Strahd and gave us our final shard. And I'll leave the Ted to fill in the rest.
So that shard was kind of like, the jade golem looked like it was kind of coming out of the shard of the phoenix egg we're trying to put back together. Found out that the golem looked and resembled like my former mentor. The vampire may or may not have been his apprentice. I think through conversation we learned, like, she laughed when we referred to her as that. But we utterly destroyed the golem. It had a secondary form which didn't seem to take too much long, to actually deal with and resolve. But the vampire, did she get away? Do I remember that correctly?
No, I think Gortham smoked that vampire pretty handily. Right?
Okay.
With some help from Senta, but yeah.
Yeah, you got like 3
Oh, no, she did definitely got away. We were going to smoke her for sure, but I think she had plot armor. But it's okay, because it gives us another chance to smoke her again.
Yeah, you got like he really devastated.
I rolled 3 20s in that combat.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I usually suck at rolling dice, but that was pretty cool.
I know, like, we were told to do some homework beforehand of something we desire, something we fear, and something that we miss. And I created all of this cool stuff. And for me, it never came up. So I'm looking forward to, whether any of that actually happens. But we're in this moment of trying to decide, where we go from here, and how we're going to kind of bring everything back, because I believe we now have all the pieces of the egg to put back together.
Yeah, we also didn't Tamari come back with us to the keep?
Yep.
That centaur. Yeah.
Mhm.
And we were back at the keep, right? It was snowing was the last thing I read.
Yep. Yes, you did. So before we jump into the narrative, one more thing. Everybody's playing Nerdarchy subclasses. It's great. You should check
I
them out.
don't think any of us really explained who our characters were.
No. I mean, we're in session what? This is like session 10.
Yeah.
10.
So
Actually, you can go on the website. There's an article all about it.
Yes, there is.
So if you're just catching up, listen to what Steven said. If not,
Yes.
let's dive in.
Yes. So you guys find yourselves now standing outside your keep. The wind is blowing, not howling, but just steady in the mountains, drifting the snow. You see before you your crumbling keep. It is actually looking like it's in a bit better shape, as though people have been fixing it. And as
how long have we been gone? Like a month?
You don't know yet.
Okay.
You are
cool.
walking through the gates with Tamari.
Yes, yes.
You see there are a number of dwarves who are working on your keep and refurbishing it. You see there are marrow here congregating in different places. You see Gara, the fortune teller minotaur. You see Corvo, the minotaur guard who you recruited.
Oh yeah.
You see there are many people here. Corvo probably shows it the most, being that he was fairly young, but he looks like he's aged just a bit. And a familiar buff as Laurie lady rounds the corner with these twin curved swords sheathed on her back, and her very dark fur just starkly contrasted against the snow. You are approached by her, and she says, "I did not think you would make it back. At least not soon."
There are times I didn't as well. As Zanya, is that her name?
Yes, Zanya.
In fact, and I'm sort of like looking over at Corvo, like, I'm not exactly sure soon is a relative term. It feels like we left here some time ago. What did we think it was? It's probably like, it seems like it's been like a month or something, right? We've been like traveling at least weeks.
It has been about a month as far as
we know.
Yeah.
But we see Zanya like a day and a half ago?
Oh, you know what? You sure did. You've seen Zanya fairly recently because you've been using a lot of these portals and stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yeah, we're teleporting.
But yeah, it does look like it some time has passed though. And
how did they all get here so fast? Do you think they hopped the portals too?
I do believe that there has been some plainer tomfoolery. I think some more time has passed for them than it has for us.
Is the ring still there though? There was one like above our keep, right?
The ring is still there. And you would see that Zanya's sort of looking you over and says, the druidess said that you entered the wild, which would indicate to me you could have arrived at any time. I expected it to be much later than several months.
Months? You've spoken with Belessa? Is that who he's talking about?
Yes.
mirror?
The druidess who has now made her shrine down below in the dungeon where you previously had that encounter with some
Yeah.
sort of acidic creature.
If it's been months, what's happened since then? What's going on out there? The Umbral Horde.
The Horde took the Meros village entirely. Those you see here are those who survived from that village. And they brought with them the dwarves. There are somewhere, I believe they're currently statues, but there are some creatures with wings and fangs that also said they know you.
The gargoyles of whatever keep. Vigil. It's a vigil.
Yes,
Something
they
with
said
an-
they came from Falset's Vigil, I
Faucet's
believe.
vigil, yep.
Um,
Well, we've not come empty-handed ourselves. Also, just sort of like gesture to. I think Stratton has all the stuff, right?
So we have to get this assembled as soon as possible.
Does someone have some epoxy?
Do not think it's going to take that. It's
Some
got to
what's that
be.
stuff called? Sovereign glue.
Is anyone good with puzzles? For clarification, now we were in the wild for hours, right?
yes, you were in the wild for hours.
Okay.
And it was like a dream, right? Where you're just like,
No, it wasn't a
Yeah.
dream. We were at basically the Feywild for this
I
world.
meant like a dream in the sense of like, you might just be somewhere and like, I don't remember walking here and stuff.
Yes,
But I'm here now.
That's how it works.
Well, I don't wish to tarry. I would actually like to speak with the druidess before we get this put back together. I don't think there should be anything else that's done before we
Indeed.
pulls this egg.
Very well. You will find her down below. And she just sort of walks off, and you see she begins correcting some of the dwarven soldiers that are sparring with each other. And you make your way through this threshold and down these stone steps. And you notice that it seems that there's this blue humming glow coming from below now. You find that many of the cages have been moved to the outside and have already become overgrown with plant life. In the middle of the floor, it seems that there's been dug out this area where there's now a monocrystal that's been placed in the floor. And there are vines and plants, despite the harsh cold, just growing from the monocrystal outward and sort of claiming this space and making it green, verdant, fresh. It also feels somewhat warmer here when you step onto the plants compared to being off of them. And standing, or as much as Meros stand, beside the stone, you see Valessa waving her hands over this stone. You can smell this almost fresh scent like an ocean breeze just coming from seemingly nowhere. And you do see the hole in the wall that you guys made previously that led into the secret passage still remaining. She turns to acknowledge you and nods.
Successful.
So I see.
Sorry to hear about your village, but I'm glad you decided to make a home here.
It was quite bloody. But thanks to the dwarves, many of ours escaped.
Well, we hope that this place can be used as a center for all to rebuild as we reclaim this world and destroy the Umbral Horde, especially now. And I'm like pulling out all of the different shards. We can now complete the egg.
We'll make sure your sacrifice was not in vain.
That is much appreciated. And right about now, you see Tamari sort of looks to you, and she excuses herself to go familiarize herself with the camp.
Mm-hmm.
And Senta just looks at the shrine, looks at all of you, looks back, and you see there's almost this longing look in her eyes toward the dwarves. And she looks at all of you and says, I have things I need to prepare.
Go ahead. What do you need?
And so she goes off with the promise of finding all of you again when she's finished. And you now find yourselves, the three of you, in this druidic area.
So I apologize.
No, you go ahead.
When we've fit pieces of the stone, or the egg together, it's clear. Okay, well this piece fits here and this piece fits there. Like it doesn't seal like a puzzle piece and stay together, right? It just
right.
It fits, but it's not there.
Right.
So I know Doug joked about sovereign glue and what have you. Is there anything that I am aware of, or can I examine the egg to see, now that all the pieces are together, do they seem different? I'll ritually cast detect magic if I feel like that will help.
So do we see you kind of contemplating this stuff,
Yes.
looking over me? So I'll put my hand on your shoulder and ignite my axe and lay the axe next to the pieces. I think we need to use this.
Wasn't there a nest or something below, or where we found that big map mural, or some sort of cradle, or where the egg was? And I'll sort of look over towards that hole as I say that.
Mm-hmm.
That we may need to bring it there.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You do see that the egg pieces do respond to the green flame, and they pulse a little bit, almost like a heartbeat, but with light. But it's very faint and flickering and fades after a while. Strawn, because you're casting detect magic, I'm going to give you advantage. You can roll nature or arcana, your choice.
Usually gonna be an arcana roll for me.
You were afforded this roll because you're a Circle of the Stone Gaze druid.
Okay, well, actually, technically, nature and arcana are the same for me. It's only going to be a 15.
15. So you know that there is a ritual that is performed to make a shattered phoenix egg whole again. It is a druidic ritual.
Okay.
However, it's one of those things, it is very secret. You're not even sure if anyone properly knows how it's performed. But you also are, like I said, a Circle of the Stone Gaze druid. And because your magic works on awareness, it's entirely possible you could piece together how to perform the ritual.
So, other than the other druidists, are there any other magic users here?
The Minotaur.
Well, Corvo is a cleric.
Gara is a druid.
Gara is a druid. Right? Yep.
There may also be resources below that we didn't discover too. I mean, that is where they kept it.
So I'll take Destrico's advice, and I'll take all of the shards to the nest first.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to help you, Strawn?
So I was gonna actually say if we could get the other spellcasters, number one, to gather their opinions, but to possibly also lend in the magic of the ritual once we kind of figure out exactly what we need to do. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps there's more information below. I've done quite a lot with magic, but I mean, there's only so much feeling around that I can do. If I don't want to mess this up and have something happen to the shards.
The Order's been around for a long time. They no doubt have some records of something that could be.
Do we know of any record room or library or any of that kind of stuff?
Scrolls.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There is a library.
Well, then it's time to go look at some books.
Okay.
Do you want to go get the spellcasters, Gortham? Or do you want to aid Strand?
I don't care. Hey! He starts yelling for the spellcasters. It's like totally when your mom tells you to go get your brothers and sisters, and you just yell, and they're like, "I could have did that."
See, now when Dasatrico says to Gortham, like, "Oh, do you want to go get the spellcasters?" Like his body just sinks. I'm like, "Wait a second, you're sending the mage killer after me?"
He can sniff them out. Maybe there's other one. Maybe some of these, our recruits have the gifts.
So you see when you let out this bellowing shout, it's almost like Valessa's scales bristle at this response. And within seconds, Zanya is in the doorway with swords drawn. What happened?
It worked.
She actually is not a user of magic, as far as I know.
Oh, I thought all your people used magic. That's how
I can see why you might think that. We are pretty majestic.
Those luxurious coats. I didn't think that was a natural thing.
Yeah.
Strahd requires assistance of spellcasters.
I am not a spellcaster.
I know. Dasatrice is just
really good at
me.
organizing people.
I am.
You know the people on the premises are. Do any of them have talent for the arcane?
Yes, in fact, they do. However, I suspect that a screaming, mage-killing minotaur, whose name is literally Mage Killer, is not going to be very effective at drawing them closer. How about all of you do whatever it is you're going to do, and I will gather the spellcasters here.
That would be wonderful, Zanya. Thank you.
And she sort of like digs a clawed finger in her ear and then flicks away something and says, preferably with less screaming. Please.
I didn't expect when I suggested that he was just going to yell. My apologies. And I'll make my way to the library.
So, yeah, you make your way to the library. Zanya goes off to retrieve the mages after sheathing her swords. Still kind of like picking her ear a little bit.
With everything that's going on, I imagine that Strahd has not really put a lot of thought into the library. He's not super studious when it comes to just generally, reading. But I mean, of his proficiencies, he is proficient in Arcana, history, and nature. So,
wow,
he knows quite a bit of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine that as a lowly apprentice here, he has spent some time in the library and maybe has a little bit of familiarity. But I imagine there was like a whole huge amount of people way above us. And there were things that he couldn't go and look at because they said no. So I imagine that there's stuff that he's been wanting to kind of check out. And with the world breaking, hadn't really thought about coming back here and checking it out until just now.
Okay.
So that's the section that he would begin looking for, like ritual magic or, just lost lore, lost magic that's not really discussed, especially since most people really don't like magic.
Hmm. Okay. So you make your way to the library, Strawn, and in the library, you find a single individual reading a book. A red-haired human girl with very pale skin and freckles. And she looks up at you and she has these really vivid green eyes. She's wearing just robes decked out in red. And she looks a little suspicious. Hi,
Hello, and who might you be?
my name's Myri. What's your name?
I am called Strawn.
Strawn. Are you one of the new recruits?
Oh. And I imagine by this point in time, the other two kind of come in behind me.
Oh, hello. Big, very big, and less big, but very fangy. Hello. Hi.
So who brought you in here?
Oh, I came with my friend Jared. He's somewhere around here. I'm representing the scriptorium from one of the Voresian outposts.
You're a scholar then?
Yes, yes. I'm a wizard.
How long have you been here within the keep, within the library?
Since last week. It was a long trip, but
You
Jared
knew of
gave
this
me
place
orders.
as far as Voires?
Oh, well, we heard. We heard from
I
some
look over at
people.
Gortham and Strand, like, kind of like surprised. It's like, that's a long way from here.
Is it
Mhm.
a long?
It is.
Yeah, it's
it's
like-
actually
It's like
almost to the
continents
other
away.
side of the equator.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
We're
That is-
famous.
That is quite. That is quite the journey that you have made. At least for the time being, it is safe within these halls. We are hoping to do some things to make it even safer.
Yeah.
Did you use
had
the
a chance
portals?
No, we found out about those after. We hoofed it the old-fashioned way, and well, Jared's a paladin, so he can summon his steed. And we found out from his wife, who apparently was a recruit, and I don't know where she is. Zanya mentioned something about several recruits being taken out early on and dying. Bravely, though, but dying.
Indeed.
Definitely dead.
Yeah. What a hoof to the nuts that is to find out afterwards. That's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
I hope that your time in this down here has been proven worth it.
If you don't mind asking, what type of magic do you tend to favor?
So the technical school is called evocation, but my specialty is fire.
Never would have guessed.
That's oddly not surprising.
Do you want to see my spell book?
Perhaps at some point in time in the future. I am my magics tend to go in a different direction, though. If you've got any interesting rituals, that is something that I do enjoy.
Oh, I'm sure I have something. And she starts thumbing through. And as you peer over her shoulder a little bit, you see that it's mostly scribbles and drawings and like doodles. It's like looking in a teenager's journal full of fan fiction. And you don't even need to make a roll for this. It's not actually a wizard's spell book.
Okay, then.
So she fancies herself a wizard, but probably doesn't actually use her books for casting very much.
Sure. But, we are somewhat pressed for time. I don't want to, delay any further nor take up any of your time. And I bow and pardon myself and begin heading off towards, shall we say the restricted section?
Okay. All right. You can easily go there. It is behind a locked door, but you guys have a key to keep if you remember.
Mhm.
So you open this barred door, and the bars are not like prison bars where they're just functional, but they are like designed and they're very ornate. So it looks like flower vines just sort of intertwined and woven. And it's really quite beautiful in spite of the rust. And as you open the door, you step and your feet quickly find purchase within dust as it starts clouding around your ankles. No one's been in here in a very long time.
So I will tell Dasatrikos and Gortham to kind of cover their mouths and nose for a moment. I will some druidcraft just to get some puffs of air moving and get the dust blown out of the room.
Okay. This dust begins swirling and tornadoing, and for a minute it's extremely dusty. And as everything sort of settles, it's much less so. And you now find yourselves in a spiraling room with a ramp that follows the wall for a time before then climbing onto the bookcases that line the walls, so that essentially you are both climbing the bookcases and also walking beside them as you climb this spiraling pillar.
The pillar has shelves in it as well, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I go into the kind of high collar of my robes and armor and what have you, and I call out the little lizard creature that occasionally travels just hidden in my clothes.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
The little baby basilisk, if you will, a little lizard. Just be like, all right, let me know what you see, and I just kind of put him to like crawl along the books just to see if anything kind of pops out to him, just to aid in the investigation a little bit that much more quicker.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation roll for him.
For him, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. What's a 19 on the die?
Wow.
Okay. So
what's a lizard's intelligence? Probably still pretty good though, man.
So
probably
the baby
at best
basilisk
10, but maybe an 8.
Yeah.
I think familiars are like a 6, right? Or if it's
really?
actually intelligence of the animal, it's like a 1 to 3.
Still a 19 on the dice. Still for
that's
a good
impressive.
Roll. Yeah.
All right, so if it's a 6, then that will probably be a 16.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
the baby basilisk starts skittering along and just kind of walking up, and it takes about 5 minutes. And as he's crawling, he knocks one of these scrolls loose from its housing, because essentially you have like a row of books, then a row of scrolls, and it just keeps alternating. And he knocks one of the scrolls out, and the protective case keeps it from really becoming damaged as it falls about 3 stories, crashing, clacking, and tumbling on the stone until it rolls right near your feet.
I'll bend down and pick it up.
Okay. When you examine it, it has information regarding phoenix eggs, their care, and you see that it details that in order to trap a phoenix's energy and make it accessible to mortals, the egg must be shattered. And when that happens, the phoenix dies, but its spirit lives in each of the shards and can be accessed like a magic battery. You also see that you can piece the egg together. And when you piece the egg together, those who piece it together are forced with a choice. You can take the spirit or somehow put the spirit into another, like a mortal. They'll be able to wield the power of the phoenix, growing tremendously in magical power. as they discipline themselves. But the downside is the Phoenix remains trapped after a fashion.
Yep.
So its true cosmic powers cannot be awakened.
Can it be born normal? Oh, sorry.
No, make an investigation or arcana roll if you want to find anything else.
It's going to be an 18 for Arcana.
18. As you're reading it, you notice there's like this almost, there's some sort of lining on the other side of it. But when you flip it over, there's nothing readily there. It's almost as though there is something, but with your knowledge of magic, it's either obscured by magic or otherwise somehow hidden.
I'll look at the parchment. I'll go to the end of the scroll. Does it look like it's double layered? Is it possibly just kind of like a fix, and if you possibly pull it apart, it'll continue below? Or does it look like it's like possibly magical text written on it, and I'd have to like do something to see the extra text?
It is not double layered.
Okay.
So you would rule that it's either magic or something chemical.
We have an alchemist.
You are?
I said, do we have?
Oh, I was like, man.
No, I actually
Do it all.
I can do herbalism and I can do mason's tools.
Gortham's
you have
solution to
herbalism
everything
kit.
is to use the green flame if it involves the green flame.
All druids get herbalism.
Okay.
Maybe it's like when you write something in lemon juice. Yeah, I'm assuming Strand's like explaining his theories. And
Yeah. I'm talking out loud as I'm, kind of exploring all of this stuff.
So I will very carefully ignite my green flame, produce flame, and like hold it safely distance under the parchment. Explain, like maybe this will make it show up if it's intended to be only known for members of the order.
When you do that, the ink begins to bleed and show. And
You're right, Gortham. It is useful for everything involving things. It comes from you.
I've got one magic tool in my box, and I just use it for everything.
What's here? You go ahead.
Yeah. Good.
What's here is an explanation for a darker ritual.
Oh.
A ritual that was invented by your order, as explained in the text itself that is shown. It seems that they shattered this egg in order to keep Crom trapped within the wild. This footnotes of this text seem to indicate that somehow the Phoenix's cosmic power is directly tied with the cosmic powers of the three great evils. It's a push and pull. As long as one is free, the other is free.
Does that mean they put its spirit in somebody and broke it on purpose? Is that what this is saying?
They broke the egg to disseminate its powers to mortals. But if we were to put the egg
but
back,
is it in one mortal? Is it or no? Oh, no. Okay.
The spirit of the Phoenix resides within the shards. But correct me if I didn't hear this right. We can put the shards back together, and
then Crom will be free.
And Crom will be free, as well as the other two evils. And then the spirit of the Jade Phoenix can either be reborn normally, or it can be reborn into an individual, granting them immense power.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy!
So we would want to do it normally, so it's still alive, so it could still do what it does. Hopefully, help us defeat the Umbral Horde, but it also means we're going to have to contend with the other larger evils of this world.
So
Wait
if
a
we
minute.
did not, oh, go ahead.
You're telling me if we do the thing, we let out the evils, and then we get to kill the evils.
Yes.
Yes! I was hoping you'd say that.
Well, anything that leads to you swinging an axe makes you happy.
That's true.
That feels like a bigger decision than we should make in this room. I mean, this affects the entire world, right? I mean, these are like cosmic entities level evils.
No, but we're also dealing with non-cosmic levels that are unable to be defeated by anyone that doesn't have green flame. If the Jade Phoenix were to arrive, regular populations would be able to sustain themselves. I have no problem sharing this with other leaders and coming to a decision together, but I honestly don't feel that there's any decision but one to be made here.
Hey, there is one thing we should consider. We are the highest ranking members of the Order of the Jade Phoenix. So we can convene a council of us and vote.
That is true, but I believe that what Dastrikos is saying is we have to take more than the Order of the Jade Phoenix's considerations as
I
well.
wasn't gonna die on that hill. I was just bringing it up. What was I gonna say? I forget. Oh, would we still would nobody be able to summon the green flame ourselves once we do this?
Yes.
That's what will happen.
Yep.
Now, with any of the tales of the Phoenix, would the Phoenix be able to willingly give us that power again?
Yes.
So we would have to
But then we'd be where we're at
remain
now.
in their. We would have to remain in their good graces, and hopefully, one would think if we return them to the world, that alone would show that we are worthy. But who knows? They might say, "Oh, you belong to the order that did this. You must burn." We don't know. But I honestly feel that this is the right thing to do. So I think we should find out what peoples are here, what leaders can be summoned, and call forth a meeting. Does this scroll have just the idea, or does it actually have all the information to enact the rituals?
It has the information, and all of this text that explains these things is footnotes and margin notes.
Sure.
So it still has the ritual that you can use to do any of those things.
Is there anything in the ritual that summons it back to life that is complex, rare, hard to come by, or anything we don't have or don't have access to?
So it seems as though the main things you need for the ritual are minimum 3 members of the Order of the Jade Lotus who wield the green flame. You need all of the shards of the egg if you're going to do either a reviving ritual or a ritual to put the spirit into a person.
Oh, quick sidebar on that. If you put it into a person, could it then later be released or
Nope.
is that kind of a okay?
Can the person lay an egg that will then hatch and become the phoenix?
Nope. If the person has the spirit of the phoenix remains trapped within them, thus keeping the eldritch horrors at bay and trapped. But that person also sort of loses who they are in the phoenix.
Mm-hmm. That seems like it's almost the same situation as just having the shards, except it's in a person instead of the shards. So they would have, there's like a sentience behind it at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we should just have it be reborn as a phoenix, right?
That's
I think we're all on that. Yeah, okay.
I say
I mean,
free the bird.
Yeah,
And slay the
free,
evil.
Free bird, man.
we already have one innocent soul sacrificing themselves for the betterment of the land.
That's
Jerry,
right.
So
Yeah.
I would not ask this of another.
No. Hit. Oh, yeah. That's another thing.
So I don't know if we need to role play asking, but do we know how many different types of people are here that would have enough authority to count themselves as a leader? I know there's dwarves. I know there's marrow. You said that there were some gargoyles. There's some humans.
Mhm.
I don't know. With as much as we've been gone, that's it's kind of what we need to know.
They
Who's all
also-
walking around our keep?
At the same time, being the only people left now, along with Senta, they put their trust in us to make these decisions. There's, in some ways, they're no longer like their own distinct people. They're just part of this now, like we are.
Well, I think there will come a time where they will make that distinction again. I just want to see them get to that spot.
Sure.
I mean, unless to actually indoctrinate themselves here, and then they're part of our people, and that's fine. I don't think as many people are here for that sake. I think they're here for safety and in hopes that we who have made a difference so far can continue to do so.
We can just conscript them.
I know that's your answer to a lot of things, but I don't think that's going to be helpful.
It's
We already
always
saw
done to
what-
me.
We already saw
Yeah.
what the marrow conscripting dwarves were doing.
You didn't
and-
choose to be here, Gortham?
No, I was conscripted.
Oh.
You wait a minute. You guys chose this?
Yes.
Yes. It's a duty
Oh.
to my people and responsibility.
I've always wanted to assist and help. This land has been in need of those willing and able to make changes.
I don't know. There was this old grizzled knight said I could fight mages and kill mages more. And I said, that sounds good. Sign me up. And the next thing you know, he touched me and my axe was on fire.
I traveled quite a distance to put a foothold in this land and make a difference.
Well, you've made a difference. You're not one of the dead ones. Hundreds,
Indeed.
thousands had to die.
Mm-hmm.
But what's left?
Well, we are still making a difference, and we still have a long way to go.
Yes, let's put the egg back together.
Yes.
So let's go find out how many peoples are here and who actually, confidently say that they can speak for their people.
Okay, so are you wanting to split up and do this to cover more ground, or are you wanting to go as a group to each person, or?
What do you guys
We
think?
just do it together, I suppose. I mean, yeah.
Okay. All right. So as you guys are going, I need each of you to make a charisma roll,
Okay.
a wisdom roll, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right, my best stats.
You say charisma and wisdom,
Yep.
just straight, whatever the number is.
I am actually going on D&D Beyond to look at your characters.
I just rolled it on
Ah.
D&D.
A 3 and an 11.
I got an 18 and a 14. Which
All
you
right,
can
so
gain more. Gain more.
Charisma is just a straight up 6. And my wisdom, despite actually being pretty wise, I rolled crappy. It's a freaking 13.
Okay.
So we go off to gather people up and mutter under my breath. So much easier to ask for forgiveness afterwards.
So, you guys are trying to convince these people. Strawn, you begin with trying to talk with Valessa, being that you guys already have the commonality of being druids. You know she's a leader, and you actually do manage to succeed at convincing her to entrust you with the best for her people.
Okay.
As you are so doing,
my thoughts for this, and I don't know if I conveyed that enough. I was looking to just gather the information of what peoples were here, and then we were going to bring all the leaders to one location and have a group discussion and find out what everyone thinks. So I don't know if was properly conveyed or not.
Okay. When you approach her, then knowing that she is one of these people, she will tell you that she trusts you implicitly.
Okay.
You've proven to be nothing but good for her people.
Okay.
So whatever decisions you think are best, she trusts you with them. Gortham, as this is happening, it's not super interesting. Diplomacy is not exactly your cup of tea anyway. You see in the corner of your eye someone, you're not sure who, but a humanoid, cloaked in white, taller than a dwarf by a good bit though, watching from the doorway and eavesdropping, and then leaves the doorway.
I'm going to charge them.
Okay. Make an initiative roll.
Alrighty. That's a 21.
21. Okay. So, you begin charging towards the doorway, and you find this cloaked figure turns around to face you, and you see an Aslari. And long mane, black, like black as night, probably the darkest colored Aslari you've ever seen. Staring right at you with these like very vivid yellow eyes.
Hey, you're not one of those bad dwarves.
I am no dwarf.
That's what I just said. Why are you hiding and skulking over here? Are you looking for Districos?
Yes.
Oh, why didn't you say so? And I'll put an arm around them and try and like guide them towards Districos.
Okay. So they will come alongside you, and they let you drape your arm. And he has these beads woven into this long beard, very similarly to yours, actually. Just coming down from the fur and braided into this like elaborate beard with beads and different decorations. And you guys are approached by Gortham with a white-clad but black-furred Aslari.
Another of our kind, Zanya, didn't tell me we had a fellow traveler from home.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. You're not here to conquer, are you?
Conquer you?
Yeah, you guys really like to conquer things. I mean, I can
We
respect
show
that.
people a better way.
Yes. Your friend here speaks with much more wisdom, but it is to be expected. Brother.
We conquer your our hearts.
Come with me. I
Uh,
have things to discuss with you.
indeed, with this, indeed, I'm a little flustered. I suppose I'll excuse myself from Strand and Gortham.
I kind of move off to the side where Strawn is pouting a little bit.
Okay. He walks away with Desatrikos.
What is it?
And he just walks silently ahead of you, expecting you to follow.
Oh yeah, I do.
He
I'll
walks
sort of
straight through the courtryard.
Yeah, I'll try to walk next to him. Is he
and
sort
out the
of
gate.
like ignoring me? And out the gate?
Out the gate.
I'm not going to go past the gate. I'll stop at the gate.
And he just kind of like leans near the gate.
I'll say, I know our people have a great duty to our nation, but my responsibilities here supersede those. If you have something to say, tell me here.
I will. But perhaps you would like to see.
I can see with more than my eyes. Paint a picture for me.
You and I both know that the pride is the one true way. It took a great many months before we found that you were harboring a fugitive. Very dangerous fugitive.
Zanya?
Yes.
She said that she had left our home, but she didn't give a lot of details. She's been very useful here.
I'm sure she has. She has every reason to be of use to you so that you will protect her. But do know that her presence has done the Pride a great service. As you know, the star maps are never wrong. And
Indeed.
her fleeing was written in the stars, as she did, so that we might be able to find this place and claim it in the name of the Pride. Can I count on you, brother, and your loyalty to the Pride to take this keep in their name and to introduce them to the beauteous way that is the Islari way of life?
You'll have to wait until tomorrow to get my answer. I don't even know if this keep will be here in the morning, to be honest with you.
And why do you say this?
Because we've been gathering the broken shards of the Phoenix, and when we put them back together, I'm not quite sure what will happen, but there's a dark cloud over this land. How long have you been away from home down here?
A year.
Oh, so you know about the darkness down in this part of the world?
Oh, I do. I do indeed. And clearly, the best choice is to give the spirit to our general, who would be most worthy to receive it.
That's not a decision I could make. The vows I took when I joined this order were blessed by Shagos, and they were in my star chart.
You realize that Shagos would not besmirch your turning on those oaths as they were needed in the moment for the greater good. For a good in which we rule, keeping the phoenixes at bay and the evils, and gain the power necessary to conquer not just this keep. No, this keep is but the start. The entire continent, both here and beyond.
Quick out of character question, like I know that's like do conquer, but it isn't just like through like subjugation, right? Like
it's essentially like communism as a religion.
But I mean, they don't go and just like, well, we killed more of your people, so we own this town now. Or is that what they do?
That they will kill those who do not submit.
Hmm.
You are the bad guys.
Yeah, it's a tough decision. Is he asking me he wants the spirit in Zanya?
No,
In him?
no, in his general, the one he works for.
And do I get the sense that they're like nearby?
Oh, yes. He offered to show you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like close enough where it was like walking distance.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that I'll tell him that my star map has become very tangled in my time here and interwoven with those of others. And I'm afraid if I just can't let you do that. And I'm gonna, is there like gate guards and stuff like that?
Not right now. Make an initiative check.
Okay.
Oh, that's not great.
Nat 20. With my
Nat
plus
20.
0, that's 20.
He lunges toward you, and you see between his fingers, he has this needle.
Then I'm gonna Ordo's binding beard him and just like try and hold him in place there.
Okay, is that an attack roll or a saving throw?
That is, yes, it's a melee spell attack roll. So I'm gonna use my inspiration
Okay.
for that because I don't want to do badly. Can you just roll that somehow? Let's see. Do it manually. Oh, so that'll be a 24.
24. That will absolutely hit him.
Okay. Then I believe he is restrained. Yes.
Okay.
My name just grows really big instantly and just wraps all around like his hand with the needle and his other hand and his legs and everything. It just holds him there.
You feel the needle start to go towards your neck, and your mane stops it, grabbing onto his wrist, and he is now restrained in front of you. What are you doing? You are turning against us. Turning against your brothers and sisters.
I'm
For
turning.
what? Humans? Elves? Dwarves?
The people who live in this world. Yes. They're finding their own way. And I'll try to fling them back and close the gate, like just, release it.
You fling him backwards, and he's going to try to not fall.
Okay.
He falls in the snow, actually. He is prone. And you see him look up, this snow, like, just kind of falling in clumps from his snarling face.
Mm-hmm.
As he shouts, "Betrayer! You will never be family to the Islari again. Join your traitorous friend Zanya, for we will march in the morning and you will die."
So be it. And I'll make sure he goes, and then I'll try to go find Gorthmanstrand and stuff.
Okay. You see that many have gathered now towards you, hearing the commotion.
Oh.
And some of the dwarves are actually lowering the portcullis.
Yeah, then I'll shout to them to prepare yourselves, because I know I'm aware that it's going to be like a pretty strong attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do I see Zanya in the crowd at all?
Zanya is looking like she is directly across from the portcullis, looking at him and then looking at you. And you see there's almost this relief of tension in her gaze as she sees what choice you made.
Then I'll just shout for everybody to prepare yourselves. We're facing an attack in the morning. Make sure your families are safe, and any able-bodied people coordinate with Zanya. And I'll just point over towards her, because she was a military person. She would know.
Yep. She begins shouting orders and rallying. so that you are free to
Okay.
go wherever. Strawn and Gortham, you began hearing shouting and a bit of a commotion rather suddenly
We'll
from
head that direction.
outside.
I will head that direction.
All right, you head that direction. You see Zanya begin shouting orders at soldiers, and it looks as though people are rallying for battle of some sort.
We'll head to Dastaricos.
Gortham's new friend is actually a representative of my people. They knew about the ritual that we had just discovered ourselves and wanted to put the Phoenix's spirit in our general.
How would they know of the ritual?
I don't know. That Black-furred one said he'd been around for over a year, so who knows what they've been doing.
I thought he was a
Well-
cousin or something of yours. He said he was looking
Not
for you.
Right. Yes, because he wanted me to. He knew that I would be able to influence the outcome of that ritual.
What do you think we do? Do we hold off and deal with this?
How long does the ritual take?
The ritual takes an hour to complete.
If we wait until after the attack, there might not be anyone left to do the ritual.
Zanya is preparing the people here for the attack.
Then
I think we should just do it now.
Then let us go do it.
As the Merrow said, the dwarves aren't very good fighters. Most of these people here, there's more dwarves than anything at this point, right?
Mhm.
I mean, we invited them here partially for safety, as Tran said. I
Yeah,
don't wish to see them get slaughtered in the morning.
they're probably gonna all die tomorrow, so we might as well get this Phoenix thing done just in case.
Let us do it.
They-
I mean, the Azalari are good fighters. Look at Zanya
best.
and you.
We're the best.
It'll be a good death. But first, the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
It's great. It's greater than these squabbles.
after shouting several orders, Zanya will walk up to you, Desatrikos,
Mm-hmm.
and she bows her head. I am so sorry. I didn't think they would follow me here.
I don't know if they followed you here exactly or not. I mean, as much as all our paths are written in the stars. But let
I
me ask
took
you,
the
did you
shots.
come here for safety or because you believe in what we're doing here?
I came because I knew you needed the shards, and they've already given one spirit to one of their own. The Ruby Phoenix resides in an Azlari prince. And
Well, then I'm even more pleased that I told him no.
There are
I
more than
stole
one
the
Phoenix.
jade shards. Yes, there are several. And I stole these shards to give to you
You did good,
for
Sonia.
this.
I hope.
I hope so too.
Well, make things ready what you can. We will do what we can. If we're able to call forth the Jade Phoenix, perhaps they will be no longer interested in being able to give it to their general.
If you can free it, there will be no taking it. But there may be other consequences, you know.
There are, no matter what we do, there will always be consequences, and we will have to deal with that as it happens.
The Merrow Queen, she now wields the Jade Fire as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what was her name again?
Valessa.
Valessa. Why don't you two grab Valessa and complete the ritual? I got something I need to do.
We'll ask and see if she's willing.
She is
before-
definitely willing.
Before Zanya goes, I'm going to snip a piece of my mane and hers and use that cantrip friendship bracelet. So for the next 24 hours, we'll know where we are, what our status is, including whether or not they're wounded and how badly. Pretty big.
Okay. All right. Cool. So you go off to Valessa to get her to help you with the ritual. Gortham, what are you doing?
I'm going to sprint to the portal and dive in.
Okay.
I'm going home.
Okay. So I need you to make a stealth check or survival to avoid being noticed by the Aslari horde that has made camp around the keep and between
All right.
your keep and the portal.
Okay. That's a 13.
13. All right, let's see.
Do you want to keep that or use your inspiration for the
Oh yeah,
sir?
I'll use my inspiration. All right. So let's see. Hopefully it doesn't do worse. It is worse.
Oh, so
So it's a 13.
an Aslari scout spots you from a cliff.
Okay.
You see her spot you.
You know what? I'm just gonna book. I'm really fast
Okay.
and I have a lot of stamina, so I'm gonna lean into that.
So we're going to go with a contest here.
All right.
So I need you to make an athletics check against her survival check as she tries to pick you off like prey
That
with her
was
bow.
terrible. All right. That's an 11.
She got a 17. So you start by taking 9 points of piercing damage.
All right.
Are you raging?
You know what? I am going to rage now.
Okay. So you begin raging, and an Aslari Magus also sees you. So you now have 2 on you.
Okay.
So both of them are going to get a roll against your athletics check.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm a little bit better. That's a 19.
19.
Actually, I kind of hope they hit me.
Natural 20!
Oh,
Magus got a natural 20.
Yeah.
Eat some of them spells.
So
What do I get hit by?
you get hit with a firebolt. That's a
Oh,
critical
I'll
hit.
totally eat that.
So that is 14 plus
Did you
7. I
start
rolled
moving
3
now?
7s. I rolled 4 7s. Wow.
Wow. So 28.
28.
So I
Yeah.
take half.
28. So you take 14 and you gain a use of your rage.
Yeah. All right.
As Laurie slings this like stark purple fire your direction,
Ooh, purple fire.
much of it just absorbs into your tattoos. You guys can see from the armaments tower at the keep that this purple streak engulfs and would immolate Gortham, except he roars, and as he does, the fire licks into his tattoos and into his mouth, and you see he exhales this glowing purple smoke through his nostrils as he continues pressing on and is missed by the arrows that are flying his direction. One more check.
It's all right. These guys are just keeping my rage going. But I guess it doesn't really matter if I keep failing. It's a 19 again.
Okay. Both of them miss and no one else noticed. So you make it clear all the way to the portal.
Look at him go.
So I dive through and think about home.
Okay, and as you do, you feel that rush once again. It's like water pouring over you, and it's hot and it's cold and it's all sorts of things. And then suddenly you find yourself at home. The cold mountain air smells differently from the mountain air at your keep.
I will continue
And-
my sprint to the center of the town where the gong is.
Okay.
And I want to begin slamming the flat of my axe into the gong
Okay.
to summon the minotaurs.
Okay, so you begin slamming this axe head into the gong repeatedly, and you just hear this as the gong ripples its sound waves, and it actually sort of distorts the air a little bit with just how loud it is. And very quickly, several of the minotaurs charge out of their homes, the ones who are in the marketplace, and just kind of watching you beeline for this. They stare, and many of the children start laughing and pointing while the parents pull them away, and several of the soldiers draw their weapons. And you see this massive magister just thunder into the square. Who rings the gong?
It is I, Gortham Mage Killer, champion of the contest of the Four Winds. I rightfully won the tournament to claim the Jade Shard, which my destiny was to help reassemble the Order of the Jade Phoenix, or Jade Lotus.
Something like that.
Phoenix Egg, and restore the world and beat back the Umbral Horde. But that is in jeopardy now. The Azalari seek to claim the power of the Jade Phoenix for themselves. As we speak, they march upon the Order of the Jade Lotus, and if they're not stopped, then nothing will stop them. They will keep marching until they come to even our mountain home. They must be turned back.
There it is. That's why. Well, just wouldn't be the Minotaur way if we didn't support our champion, now would it?
We've slain gods. Now let us show these kittens our horns. But there is one thing I will have to ask of you. That may be a little hard for some. We must brave something that we all despise in order to get there in time. We must go through the portal.
Son, you are asking a mighty tall order.
If we can slay gods, we can bear the filth of the portal.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh God.
Come on,
10
you
made
can
me
do it.
waste my inspiration.
You have advantage because you are their champion.
All right. Well, that is a 12.
12. He pauses for several seconds, and you see the air itself tenses as everyone looks to him to see what he's going to say. And he raises one of his two-handed axes to the air and shouts, "To war through the portal!" And you hear this massive cheer just reverberate throughout the town. And you see that those who don't have weapons are either going to fetch weapons or are handing weapons to those who are looking for them.
So what I would like to do is assemble the Minotaurs today, but
Okay.
they're supposed to attack in the morning. So we want to attack after they attack, or around when they will be attacking, so we can smash them against the walls.
Okay. So you begin rallying these minotaurs together, and you just happen to glance up. And because you've succeeded so much, I'm just kind of giving you this. But it is a complication, so you get an inspiration. You can give one to someone else.
Ted, you made me waste my inspiration, so you can have it.
I did not make you waste anything. I merely
Suggested.
pointed out that if you wish to use it, but thank you.
You see there are 3 Aslari scouts that are now descending that long stairway that's very crumbly, if you remember, that you guys were nearly blown off of between the
Yeah, I
temple
almost
and the
died.
town.
Oh,
Yeah.
Paladin?
I
3 of
want to
their
grab
scouts.
those guards that nearly knocked us off before and lead the charge against those scouts.
Okay, all of you can make an attack roll against the Azlari. So there are 3 guards plus you, so make 4 attacks.
All right. Four. So all right. So I'll do the 3 guards first.
Okay.
Ooh, 11, 20, and 12 are the unmodified rolls.
Okay.
I was like 43.
They get +5 to their hits.
So 16, 17, and 25.
So the 16 will not hit.
Okay. And then I will recklessly attack and rage because, 27 the hit.
27 will absolutely hit. So you charge like with your weapons and your heads down. You guys are ready, and you easily plow these 3 scouts over the edge. And they begin reaching out with their claws to try to hold onto the rock, and only one of them succeeds.
Oh, wow.
It is holding on to the ledge about 10 feet down with his claws.
They, 10 feet down.
Yeah.
Any boulders around?
Yes, there are boulders around.
I want to pick one up and drop it on him.
Okay, so you have this crumbling statue, and you have it in your hand. Make an improvised weapon roll. So that's just strength for you, unless you have Tavern Brawler.
That is a 17.
17 is exactly what you need to hit.
They say cats always land on their feet as I drop it.
Okay, so you drop it, and you see his eyes get real big, and he's like, "What? No!" And he falls into the clouded mists below. And you don't even hear the crash because it's so far down.
Set some sentries up outside the portal in case any more think to venture through.
All right, so they will nod at you, salute, and they head to the portal. Meanwhile, at the keep, Desatrikos and Strawn, what are you doing?
So, what is it going to entail of me to enact this ritual?
All the shards and 3 people with green flame.
Yep.
You're so-
Looking to be the most ready for this. Is this going to be something that requires effort and a chance, or do I have to just go through the motions?
So it will require effort and a chance.
Okay.
And the chance will be significantly better, you would know, as a druid, if you perform a blood magic ritual.
Okay.
Necromancy gets to break the rules of magic, but for a price.
Sure. Is it more of an effort of intelligence or more of an effort of will?
It is an effort of both intelligence and will. It is largely based on your spell casting.
Okay.
However,
The reason I ask is I was looking at casting enhance ability.
okay.
Know what I should be enhancing.
Okay. So for you, you'd want to enhance your wisdom.
Okay.
Because you know that you access your magic through your awareness.
Sure.
And so you're going to be relying on that to sort of handle the magic of this egg and to channel it in the proper ways to get it to revive.
Okay. So I will do that.
Okay. So you begin doing that. And when you do, you feel your energy begin sapping into this egg. It's almost like it needs you to bond with it on a level of spirituality.
Of course.
So as you are doing it, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw to kick things off.
So is it something where like it looks like it's pulling my life force in? Like what am like
So-
describe what I'm
The
willing
egg-
to give of myself if it needs it to survive.
The egg needs you to give of your mind, body, and soul in order for it to achieve the resurrection of life necessary. And these rolls can be made easier by more assistance.
Can Valessa and I help him? Because we have
Yes, you can.
That is a 19 on my con save.
19 on your con save. So you feel this almost, it's like you suddenly get hit with an illness and you feel your energy begin sapping. And Desatrikos and Valessa would see Strawn's nose just begins trickling with blood. And you see there's a little bit of blood, just barely with some tears on the edge of his eyes. But you survive and you continue to persevere. And you feel that as this heartbeat begins pulsing, it actually synchronizes with your own heart rhythm. Desatrikos, you feel that it now needs an essence of spirit, of will. And it looks to you, your big and intensely passionate personality is calling out to it. Make a charisma saving throw.
Okay. Also, as part of that too, I'm going to, and it's like Valessa with us. Like I'm assuming we're in some kind of like ritual type chamber.
Yep.
I'm gonna take I have a little golden comb. It's
Okay.
part, and I'm gonna set it in front of the egg on whatever it's on, some kind of holder or whatever I'm imagining.
Okay.
And as I'm letting it kind of attuning with it, I'm gonna cast Cloister of Combs, which basically is like Lehman's tiny hut of fur that
Okay.
sort of like envelops Strawn and Valessa and me and this pedestal with this egg, and just sort of like so that like all the distractions around us are not there.
Okay.
And we're just like sort of
Makes
safe in
sense.
this little bubble. And so I'm just making a straight charisma save, you said? Or check?
Yep. Charisma saving throw.
Oh, saving throw, okay. Nat 1, so 7 is the total.
Desatrikos,
I used it already.
Oh,
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
are at 0 hit points.
All right.
And Desatrikos collapses as you see this intense energy, this almost division between his spell casting and it drawing from him. It was a bit much and it pulls everything from him. You aren't dying, you're stable, but you are unconscious.
Okay. Now, I don't know if this is just an oversight on my part of editing, but that spell doesn't require concentration, so it would technically still be...
Right. Yep. No, it's
Cocooning
still
us.
working. The
Okay.
magic is still going. And it now needs an aspect of mind, which it's going to seek from Valessa. And she succeeds. So thankfully you have 2 out of 3.
All right.
So now, Strawn, because you're heading it up, it needs your magic. It needs you to essentially flip the switch with your magic. Make a spellcasting roll. It can be a spellcasting attack if you want, but it's
Sure.
your spellcasting plus your proficiency.
would my spell take effect here? Would I have advantage on this?
Yes, you would.
Okay. Valessa, can you heal him?
I'm still with
Um,
you. Just the connection.
So, number one, how do you feel about a natural 20 for a 28?
Ooh. So, Strawn, describe how you give this magic to the egg.
So I imagine, much of this keep is a stone, like a stone room in the area where the nest is, or if this is like a full-on ritual chamber. But I see to my left Dasatrikos is breathing but gasping. Valessa is looking a little bit tired, looking back and forth between Dasatrikos on the ground and Strawn leading this ritual. You see this pedestal with my book on it and the scroll kind of like leaning over top of it. Lesk is kind of just off to the side, just ever so casually observing. But as all of this is transpiring, time seems to slow down for a moment as the stone just kind of pulses around, the heartbeat that's sinking between this egg that's all been kind of collected together in this stone jigsaw puzzle. It's pulsing along with the heartbeat of myself. And I watch as the loose rock and stones that have been shaken from all of the things that have happened recently just kind of begin to just subtly rise from the ground, and begin moving towards not only myself, but towards the egg as well. And you watch as uncontrolled or unchosen by me, but the stone sickness or whatever you want to call it on my face begins to kind of expand and reach out towards and cover my hand, but coming in too with the rocks that are floating up and floating towards me, and it just kind of melds into my skin, forming that kind of stone protection. But as they begin moving towards the egg, maybe it's a trick of the light, but they look like they're turning green as they're moving in towards the egg itself.
Okay, and as that happens, this explosion of fire just erupts from the center of the egg. Green flames envelop everything. There's light. There is this almost ethereal feeling, and it's almost as though the world itself pauses. You feel your heartbeat intensify. You feel the blood flowing through your body. You feel the blood flowing through the bodies of others. And briefly, if however briefly, it's almost as though everything in this chamber is connected. And then with another split second, you hear this ethereal, echoing, multi-toned screech of this bird unleash as you see the entire world just flashes to white. Your head goes light, and all three of you in the room lose consciousness. Meanwhile, in the Minotaur village, miles and miles away, Gortham, you hear this screech in your mind, and Gortham's eyes flash flaming green as your tattoos begin exuding these green flames, and you see a vision of the phoenix rising, exploding out of the rooftop of your keep. And when that happens, Gortham, you see from the Minotaur's homeland, the ring explodes, and you see this armored giant centipede body that's like an enormous tube materializes where the ring was. There is now a centipede body, and it spans for miles, going in the directions that you would expect if it were connecting somewhere near where the other ring was, and to the next ring. As you come to in the basement, you see the phoenix is alive. It's about 3 stories tall and just currently flying and burning over your keep. everything is bathed in this intense jade green, and you hear screams of horror.
Horror?
Valessa goes to the doorway, slithering up the stairs quickly, and she turns. You need to see this.
I was already moving before she had turned around.
Strawn, she barely gets the words out, and you're already next to her, and you see too where the ring that Gortham just traveled through is now this massive centipede body. And it's just resting on the mountaintops, extending for miles into the distance to where you can't even see it anymore.
So is the centipede one of these great evils that, we were aware of?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You might
Yep.
say that.
And you can see through the portcullis to this encampment. You hear screams and roars like lion humanoids in utter pain and terror. And if you choose to get a better vantage point,
I would actually be looking to approach the Phoenix.
okay. So Destrikos, you do hear though in Aslari screams of horror, and you very quickly gather the Umber spawner rising from the ground within their encampment itself, just decimating them. And
Tag back together to go do that now. I'll go with Strand.
Strawn, where are you going? You're going to the Phoenix?
I'm gonna try and go to the Phoenix. Yeah, I know.
Is it just like flying above the keep, you said? Like circling around?
It is flapping and hovering right now over the keep.
Okay.
You'll have to get up to a high tower built into the mountain to
Sure.
be where it can hear you, basically.
Sure.
So with your Thorn Whip, which I know you've used this way, I need you to make a spellcasting attack roll. And you will have disadvantage if you choose to take Destrikos with you.
I'll take the disadvantage. It was going to be another natural 20.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
But it's a 24.
Okay, so you throw out your staff, and as you do, this vine extends 30 feet, grabbing onto the nearest surface, and then pulls you like Spider-Man towards this ledge. You land, and you have Destrikos just like shoulder to shoulder. You guys are interlocked, and Destrikos, make a spellcasting attack roll as you get the next way up.
Okay, with my beard whip.
Yep.
Let's see. That's a nat 20 plus 6, 26.
Okay, you have disadvantage because you're carrying Strawn.
Okay.
2 nat 20.
Wow, isn't that weird?
Destroyed.
14.
14. You also extend your whip and easily enough pull both you and Strawn to that final bit. You are now within earshot of the Phoenix.
And we're up here now. Can we see out? And the campment just getting destroyed or what?
So you can see the camp is being destroyed. There are every type of Umber spawn you can think of
Gosh.
are destroying that campsite. There is a horde. It is a mess. There are fires. There are yellow fires. It's really quite terrifying.
I'm gonna, as we sort of land there or whatever, my mane is going to take on the appearance of a pompadour.
Okay.
I'll slick back. And I'll look up at the Phoenix and say, "Will you not help us against your enemy?"
It just sort of looks at you flapping. It doesn't say anything, but you feel this
I'll say that in
emotion
Celestial.
of wanting. Oh, you say it in Celestial.
Yeah.
It understands you, and you feel this emotion welling within you of wanting family, wanting togetherness, wanting oneness. And you feel this intense heat as Gortham you are enveloped in flames, and you suddenly find yourself standing next to Destrikos and Strawn. The Minotaurs from your village who were armed are now standing in the common area of your keep. And you see Senta also standing beside the three of you. And you feel this warmth, this exuding love, and you just know this word in the back of your minds: family.
So while Dastrico starts talking, I don't understand what he's saying. I don't know what the typical custom is for, approaching, kings or royalty or lords or what have you. But I don't imagine that Strawn is much for interacting with nobles. So he probably hasn't done a whole lot of, bowing and subjugation and all of that kind of stuff. But he's totally like down on one knee, fist to the ground, head completely bowed, showing as much reverence towards the Phoenix as he knows how to do.
And when you do it, it's you feel this sense of confusion inside you. Like it doesn't understand what you're doing. And you would gather very quickly, the Phoenix is it is sentient, but it's more like an animal. It doesn't have the concepts of formality.
Okay.
As such. And it looks at Gortham, and it just sort of like alights on the edge of this tower that you guys are currently standing atop. And it pecks Gortham. And Gortham, your tattoos ignite. And you have all your rages back. You have the benefits of a long rest, and you have your green fire again.
I know I brought you all here to, feeling reinvigorated. I know I brought you all here to kill Azlari. Not that one. I like that one. And I not Trix's. But right now the Umbral Horde is slaughtering them. And I hate the Umbral Horde more than almost anything else. Let us go assist the Azlari, or at least have them not added to the ranks of the Umbral Horde. And I'm not going to wait to see who follows me. I'm going to charge towards the gate.
Okay, so make an athletics check because you're on top of a high ledge right now. Or acrobatics, your choice.
Yeah, I'll go with athletics.
Okay.
That's not going to be terrible. 17.
17. So you guys watch as Gortham leaps and crash on a ledge, and then leaps and crash on another ledge before crashing to the ground. And you see the other Minotaurs cheer, raising their weapons. And the dwarves begin raising the portcullis, and Gortham leads the charge of Minotaurs toward the Umbral Horde. The Phoenix pecks Destrikos next.
Mm-hmm.
You get the benefits of a long rest.
That's
you don't
good.
have 0 hit points anymore.
No,
And you have your green fire back.
Then I'll look up at it and I'll just in Celestial say like, this is all of our family, and we need you to help save it. And I'll rush after Gorth.
Okay.
With my green paws lit up.
All right, make an athletics or acrobatics check as you're descending, or spellcasting if you want to use your beard wit to help.
Oh yes, absolutely. Kind of just like back hack it down the wall. 18 plus 6, 24.
24. Okay. So you manage to finesse your way all the way to the bottom, and you skid and just keep going without even missing a beat, charging with the Minotaurs.
So you would say he whipped it good?
Oh, yes.
Whipped it real good.
It was smooth as cream. And Strawn, the Phoenix pecks you on the forehead, and you also feel this igniting flame. You have your green fire back, and your stone injury shimmers, and you can see in this reflection as the phoenix's fire itself is almost reflective like a mirror. You see your stone shifts to jade.
Ooh.
And you now also have your green fire back, and it then alights and flies toward the giant centipede that just disappears in both directions.
Does it? I mean, I know Senta's not here, but does it return the green flame to Senta as well?
It does return the green flame to Senta.
Yeah.
And Senta actually, before you head out, she says, I'm going to keep Jen safe. We're going to get through this.
Of course.
And like the shadow that she has proven herself to be so often, as she rounds a corner, is gone, and you have no idea where she is again.
Well, having watched Dasatrikos whip it good, I basically look at all of the same exact points that that Dasatrikos used, and I follow suit. That's a 24 for myself.
Okay, you easily just Spider-Man swing all the way, landing, not missing a beat, and you charge with the others. And you guys very quickly find yourselves in the horde. For simplicity's sake, we are not going to roll initiative. Instead, we're going to treat this like quest combat.
Oh, okay.
So since Gortham's leading the charge, you're starting us off, and then pass it to somebody.
All right. Well, obviously, I'm going to rage.
Of course.
So do you mean make normal attacks and do that stuff, or is it like a challenge or something?
So you're going to be making an attack roll, but functionally the horde has a number of hit points that will dwindle as you deal damage.
Perfect. I will be reckless because, why not?
Okay.
Well, that's going to be... that's a 30 to hit.
30 will absolutely hit. Roll that damage.
And that is going to be... it's going to be 19 points of damage for the first attack.
Okay, roll that second attack too. I forgot. You got 2 attacks. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a thing. Okay, that's a 24 to hit.
24 will hit.
And that's going to be... it's only 13 points of damage. And I know it doesn't actually matter or isn't going to do anything, but he's definitely going to ram somebody with his head and headbutt.
Okay, so you guys watch as Gortham, leading this charge, sees a harpy in the air, leaps, and you notice now when he leaps, it's almost as though he has the jump spell cast on him. And Gortham, you realize you have a new feat as blessed by the Phoenix. Your jump distance is doubled, or tripled, excuse me. So functionally, you always have the benefits of the jump spell.
Ooh.
And you
Jade
leap.
Phoenix will make you jump.
This, and you might say that the Minotaur now has wings. But you leap and you see Gortham raises his axe, cleaving the harpy in 2 as he lands and then slices all the way around a group of zombies and then just headbutts one of these drowners for good measure. And you have just carved an entrance into the horde for everyone else. Who are you passing it to?
Oh, Desatricus came right behind me, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm just on all fours, and I got my produce flame, and he'll just like leap into the mix of the closest one. I use sorcery points to quicken the produce flame, and just like do that.
Okay.
To 1. And that's a spell attack. 20 or no, man, it was kind of, nope, 15.
15. Okay, that will definitely hit. Roll that damage.
All right. Oops. There we go. Okay, that's 10 green fire damage. And that was
10
my
green fire.
that was my bonus action. So for my action, we're just going for straight damage here,
Okay.
right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Then I'll just with the fire gun, I still have my silvered claws, and I'll just like rake at the nearest one.
Okay.
So roll that. That's a 15,
15 will hit.
and that's 3.
3.
Three
Okay.
slashing.
So you watch as Desatrikos' front paws ignite in green fire. He pounces on an ogre, and
Okay.
it topples prone as he then slashes at its throat, tearing at the ogre and downing it in one fell swoop. Who are you passing it to, Desatrikos?
Strand.
Strawn.
All right, so on the heels of Dasatrikos, I'm looking to cover an area. Is there a spot that's got like just massive concentration of these that I could hit a 20-foot cube?
Absolutely.
So I get to within 120 feet of that spot, and
Okay.
I just kind of gesture out at the ground, and everything just begins to shake as all of a sudden the earth erupts out of the ground. Everything within that 20-foot cube has to make a dexterity save or take 26 points of damage. As it
Okay.
just explodes out. That 20-foot area becomes difficult terrain. Takes a minute to clear a 5-foot section. They take half damage if they succeed, 26 if they fail.
13.
Fail.
Okay, so is this erupting earth?
Yes.
So you guys watch as Strawn digs his hands into the ground and magma cracks start pluming from underneath the snow, just snaking like lightning towards this area before a massive explodes, a whole mess of them. You see zombies, Dullahans, everything just begins flying every direction. Yes, Dullahans are the Umber Horde version of centaurs. They're headless horsemen.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That's cool.
And you see that these bodies just go flying. Many of the Islari that start turning are also caught in this mix. And it is now the Umber Horde's turn.
Okay.
So, Desatrikos, what is your armor class?
13.
13. So a horde of zombies start leaping at you. These zombies are actually, they skitter almost like spiders up the walls of these nearby cliffs and then jump from their vantage point.
Okay.
But they miss you
Oh.
as you nimbly dodge and whip them out of the way with your
Nice.
massive magical mane. Gortham, the Drowners. There are several spellcasters that target you. And when they do, one of them manages to land a nat 20. So
Okay.
that is going to be...
I will totally eat that.
I figured you would like to eat that because I know you're always hungry for magic.
Nam nams.
Okay, wow. 2 10s in that roll. Okay.
Steven's
So-
on fire tonight, guys.
32 fire
All right.
damage. So that would be halved to 16, I believe.
Correct.
And then Strawn. Oh yeah, whiff. So you see these harpies begin descending upon you with their claws, trying to rake at you, and you fend them off with your staff and your vines, just easily managing to not only hold concentration on your magic, but also keep them away. And and now I get to hand it off. I'm gonna hand it off to Strawn, since you're already fighting off the harpies. Doing a good job.
All right. Sure. So, erupting earth isn't concentration. That's a
Oh, it's not. Okay.
Yeah, it's a one and done.
Okay.
So let's see here. Are the harpies kind of clustered together?
Not really. They kind of fly just very much haphazardly. So they're probably the least clustered out of everything.
Well then, you know what? Let's add some more fracas to the fray, and I will give a bay and call forth my wolves and just
Okay.
stick them into the horde. Wow. So 2 natural ones, so they certainly miss.
Okay.
But 2 natural 20s.
Wow. What are the odds?
is
That's
crazy,
crazy.
5% per die.
Wow.
So low roll, I've got a 13. I assume that misses.
Yep.
16.
That'll hit.
All right. So then that's 3 regular hits and 2 crits.
Okay.
So the 3 regulars, that it's going to be 10, 20, 26. It's going to be 32.
32.
2 crits.
That's crazy.
And that's going to be 25 for them.
25. Wow. Wowza. Okay, so in order to finish it all up, instead of having just one person finish it off, I want each of you to describe how you continue to thin the horde until its completion.
Okay.
So since Strawn got the killing blow, we'll start with him.
So like there's so many things that are out there, and while bringing out the Minotaurs and maybe a handful of people in the keep are using ranged weapons to kind of aid, this might break normal magic, but something about the whatever the Jade Phoenix had done when I call forth the wolves, the green flame seems to erupt out of me and into the wolves. Mm-hmm. So again, this could be a one-off, but the wolves, their teeth, their muzzles all begin to kind of vent off this green flame, and they just dive in. A couple of them begin leaping up at the harpies to kind of defend their master. So they're just told sick 'em, and I'll pass it to Master Steven.
So those zombies were just piling up on him, and it looked like he was just buried in them. But then Destrigus uses his whirl whip to just hit everything, like fling them all off, and then he just basically goes savage, forgetting most of his magic. Maybe using produce flame, but mostly just tearing into these things. And at one point, that as Larry, who had come into the keep earlier, is like getting borne down upon by we'll say a harpy. It's like just scratching at his face, and I just like tear it apart from behind and save that guy. But then just move on, before, because it's just a crazy battle. Mm-hmm. And I just growl at him and just bound away. But mostly just trying to hold him back with claws and produce flame.
All right. So what is Gortham doing then?
So Gortham forms up the spear point of a wedge with the Minotaurs, and basically they look like almost like synchronized swimmers. They wield their axes in a figure eight, and they just move forward like a chainsaw ripping into the Umbra Horde, heading towards those spellcasters.
Nice. And as all of you continue the battle for what feels like an eternity, but in actuality is only several minutes.
Oh, can I add something real quick?
Yes.
And quickly, those maybe my companions realize like the war gong that he's always carried with him and occasionally has played in battle. Now you get to see its true purpose, and with those figure eight swings, the half slams the war gong, and that is the tempo that the Minotaurs use to synchronize their axe swings.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That is amazing. You thin the horde. You thin the horde to this almost rhythmic drumbeat of the gong. And you see as overhead, the Phoenix is constantly dispersing motes of fire channeling between the spaces in the armored centipede before exploding and coming back to form a bird again. It continues as you continue your battle. Occasionally it will unleash a screech and you'll all receive this font of inspiration, if you will, and feel yourselves empowered. And then yet you see that the more you succeed, the more it seems encouraged to continue on. And eventually what isn't killed of the horde disperses into caves underground. And you are left with a smoldering battlefield. Smoke pouring not only from the lava plumes caused by Strawn, but from the charred, mangled Umber Horde bodies, all flickering and smoldering with green embers. And bloodied, battered, and tired, but honestly victorious. You feel this sense of pride well within you, this accomplishment. The centipede begins to fade with the attacks as you continue until eventually you see that it explodes and the pieces fall like dead leaves that crumble to ash, flickering away on green fire. As this section, at least, of the centipede seems to have been defeated. The Phoenix flies off, and the three of you are left on a battlefield, while the battlefield itself is a wreck. You have won. You've won the day.
What do you call it? The things that disappeared, do they like burrow into the ground or do they go into caves?
So they go into the caves as though they're going underground.
All right. So I take a moment and I stride to the area where I called forth all of this earth. And I'm not going to leave as is alone. So I begin incanting another spell, one that I haven't really called forth before. And you watch as this area of disturbed earth kind of begins, like the stones begin like jumping and stacking upon each other until they form this almost humanoid-esque shape. And I will cast a Conjure Elemental.
Okay.
Conjure Minor Elemental, sorry. So it takes me a minute. I will call forth a four-armed gargoyle.
Okay.
Its face full of malice. I tell it to go hunt the Umbral Horde, and I'll point towards the cave and just let it go and allow it to delight in its nefarious, murderous intent that it enjoys doing. Just it's got to do what I say.
Okay.
And then I'll turn back to my companions.
All right. And as you guys take a minute, you start to realize that this battle wasn't without its casualties. Among the dead, you see Corvo, the Minotaur guard. You see the this young robed figure wearing red, who you would recognize as the wizard Strahd.
Aw.
Miley, was that her name?
Myri.
Myri.
Is she gone or is she down?
She is.
She did.
She's down.
I will heal.
Okay, you heal her, and she coughs out this blood, but she's alive.
I'll check Corvo as well.
Corvo is dead. Oh, nat one. And also dead is Zanya.
Did she have any, like, she didn't have any distinctive, like, her badge or anything like that, did she? She just had her sword. That was the only, like, distinctive thing about her.
You
Double
do
sword.
find that she has a signet of rank that she keeps pinned under on the inside of her clothing.
I'm going to lean over, and as I do, like, strands of my beard, like, actually reach out and coil around that and just, like, pull it into his mane. You just can't even see it. And then I'll bring her body to the camp.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I would return anyone of our fallen back to the keep.
And I would
Okay.
explain to them that, you know, even though she was, we called her a traitor and a deserter, she followed the paths of her stars, and that led her here with you, and she deserves to be treated just like any of the rest of us would. We could have let you all perish out here, but she led I guess not the charge, but she led our troops to come and help you, and that's worth something.
And
And
the
I'll just-
Azlari that you saved nods somberly.
We'll have much to work through, but for now, I think she should be treated like with the dignity any of us would.
Agreed.
And then I'll return to the keep.
All right. So, while not without your losses, you have achieved a victory. And you see that the night sky is just giving way from twilight. And you now see a bright moon over the snow-capped mountains, stars clear in the sky. It's almost as bright as day out here.
Oh.
And that's where we are going to cut off for today.
All right.
Well, thank you, sir, for running. That was fantastic. Thanks, everyone, for playing, and thanks, everyone, for watching. We only have a couple more sessions left before it all. Of this season anyway, but we got something cool in the works for next season, which will be a lot of fun. So until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.